Welcome. I will be trying to do a cohesive step-by-step tutorial on some of the basics in Blender, some of the essentials, specifically when it comes to Roblox UGC. Now this is very basic, very much for beginners. I'll be covering shortcuts, keybinds, everything you need. So first I'm gonna select this light by just left clicking and selecting it. Then while holding shift, I'm gonna select this camera and I'll select both of them. The next I'm gonna hit X to delete it, and boom. Now you can move your screen, like rotate your screen by holding your mouse wheel, and by holding mouse wheel and shift, you can move left to right. You can also do this using these little buttons up here, with the zoom, which would be the scroll wheel, if you don't have one. This little button, as well as this 3D view. If you hold Alt, hold your mouse wheel, and move your mouse, you go into these flat modes. You can also do it by clicking on these little nodes at the top. Alright, I usually make my items facing -Y. This is because the female rig, which I use for a lot of my UGCs, is facing -Y. And when I import it into Roblox, the rig I put in there is usually facing -Y as well. But if you want to, you can build it in whatever direction you like and position it later. It's completely up to you. For now, I'm just going to hit X on my keyboard and delete the cube. Now, linked in the description, I am going to put the two rig files I currently use, which is the female rig, this one with the rounded head, and the male blocky rig, right here. For now, I'm just going to delete this one though. Alright, so I want to go over a whole bunch of keybinds, a whole bunch of basics, and to show you how to use a large chunk of these basics, we're gonna start by making a very simple bucket hat, as well as a simple beret. Now, they may not seem simple as first, but you have to keep trying and keep practicing, keep testing things out. Obviously, you might have a different method to what you're doing than the way I'm doing it. I make stuff differently from other creators, and it happens. Just find whatever you're comfortable with, and if it works, it works. Now, before we get started on this, I'm going to turn on a couple settings that will make your life so much easier. So I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna turn on statistics, and I'm gonna turn on face orientation. Now, for statistics, this popped up, and you can see how many objects are on here, the vertices, the edges, the faces, and the triangles. The one we're really interested in is these triangles. The reason being, Roblox has a 4,000 triangle limit. Now this is 2,940 triangles, but you don't have to factor this in when you're making your model. You can just hide it and count the triangles on everything that's left in it. You can hit H to hide, and then Control Z to undo. I'm not quite certain on what the unhide button is, but you can use the little eyeball here as well if you're unsure. Now I'm going to go into this view, and I'm going to start by adding in a UV sphere. Now before you touch anything, you're going to hit Shift A, you're going to go to Mesh, and you're going to import the UV sphere. That is what we have here. And before you do anything else, you're going to click on this little arrow, you're gonna go to segments, and you're gonna type in 16. So instead of 32, you'll have 16, and you can see the difference when you're looking at the triangles from 32, which is 960, to 16, which is 480. Now I'm going to move this up using the G key, and then the Z key. G means move it, and Z means on the Z axis, which is up and down. I'm gonna move up here. You can also use this, move it specifically on the axes, and if you hold the little circle, you can move it just wherever you want. Control Z to undo. There is no Control Y to redo, unfortunately, so you have to be very careful. There's these little rotate tools. A scaling tool, which allows you to do stuff like this. And then there's this one right here, which is the transform tool, and it allows you to do all of the above. So if that's more your alley, go for it. I do recommend learning the keybinds regardless, but whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. Alright, now we're gonna hit tab, and that brings up this view, which is edit mode. Basically in here you can select any individual vertice. If you hit 2 on your keyboard, you can select an edge, and if you hit 3 on your keyboard, you can select any face. I'm gonna go back to 1. You can also change it by clicking on these buttons up here. Now I'm gonna click on this little button right here, which is wireframe mode. Or you can hit Z on your keyboard and select wireframe mode. Before, we were in solid mode. Now we're going into wireframe mode. And you're going to select the bottom half of the sphere. Then you're gonna hit X, and you're gonna hit vertices. Now I want to point out something very important when it comes to Roblox UGC and pretty much any model that you make. That is normals. Everything here looks normal. I explained earlier the statistics button that we turned on, but I didn't explain face orientation. This is why. When your normals are off, they will pop up red. Basically what this does is it'll tell you that when you import this into Roblox Studio, this inside is going to appear invisible. And we don't want that. So we'll have to fix that later. And there's a very simple solution to that. Now I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna click Shade Auto Smooth, so we have a smooth bald head looking thing here. Next we're gonna go back into edit mode hitting tab, and while holding Alt, you're gonna select this lowest row of vertices by holding Alt and selecting on the edge. Because if you select on the vertex itself, it'll go vertical. Next, we're gonna hit E on the keyboard, and then Z. What this does is this extrudes the vertices, it adds onto it, and by hitting Z, you prevent it from going literally anywhere like this. So I'm gonna do it up to about there, it doesn't have to be big. And from here, I'm gonna hit S on the keyboard and size it up to about yay. Now that it looks good, you have a very simple bucket hat. From here, you can go ahead and size it down using S, of course, moving it on the Z-axis, sizing it down some more, maybe rotating it. I like my bucket hats rotated. You can rotate stuff by using the R key on your keyboard. So I'm just gonna do that. And now let's fix this issue. We can fix this by adding a modifier. That is this little wrench tool right here. You're gonna click on this, and you should already see this if you shade auto smoothed. You right clicked and clicked shade auto smooth, because it is a modifier. You're gonna click on the plus button. It doesn't have to necessarily be on the button, but you get my point. You're gonna go to generate, and you're gonna go down to solidify. And boom, you see that it immediately got rid of the red surface. From here you can change the thickness. I like mine to be a little bit thick. You can input your own. You can scroll by selecting and dragging your mouse. Or you can click on the little arrows. And that is the very basic base to a bucket hat. Something I do want to cover is applying modifiers. You do that by clicking on this little arrow and clicking apply. Or if you're lazy like me and you're trying to apply several modifiers at once, you're gonna right click and convert to mesh. It does the exact same thing. I do recommend applying them one by one though, in case applying a modifier like fucks up the way your mesh looks, because it does happen, specifically with subdivision modifiers, which we'll cover when I go over cat ears, bows, and other little details. For now, I want to add a little detail to this bucket hat. Nothing too crazy, we're not gonna go over everything in this video. But I'm gonna hit 3 on my keyboard in edit mode. You can also change the modes by going up here, whatever suits you. I'm going to Alt and then select this row of faces. I'm gonna hit extrude, which extrudes it, size, and then to make sure it's symmetrical, I'm gonna hit Shift Z, which will size it on everything but the Z axis, and then I'm gonna hit Shift Z again to make sure it's angled properly. And now this looks weird, right? So again, auto smooth, and boom. Now your problems are fixed. The reason you have to hit Shift Z twice is because we angled this. If this was not angled, you can undo an angle while in object mode only by hitting Alt R. So I'm gonna have this at an angle, and if I'm going to say move this on just once, hitting the Shift Z axis, it'll be like flat, right? If I hit Shift Z again, it'll be at an angle, and it'll keep in mind that the fact that the object is at an angle. However, this does not apply if your item is flat, and if you go into edit mode and rotate it, then it does not apply. It makes it very confusing. But yeah, that covers a couple different tools. Now I'm going to move this off to the side for now. And we're gonna quickly go over a beret. Again, you're gonna hit Shift A, you're gonna hit UV sphere, move it up using G and Z. And from here, we're gonna hit Tab, Z, the same thing to make sure you're in vertex mode. But this time, we're gonna do it a bit under the halfway mark. This time I'm doing it 2 rows of vertices under the halfway mark. And I'm gonna delete those vertices. Now I'm gonna hit Tab, and then Z and Solid. And I'm going to size this on the Z axis by flattening it to about there. I'm going to hold Alt and select this row of vertices while back in edit mode. Maybe size it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna extrude on the Z axis a little bit like so. And then hit Tab, right click, and auto smooth. From here you can see that this is not sharp, so you can either, like, it's not, I'll show you the difference. That's the difference right there. I don't know if you can really tell, but this is a sharp edge versus a soft edge. You can either keep sizing it down and it'll look like a little slanted, or you can do what I prefer, which is going up here to edges, going down to mark sharp, and boom. There you go. Mark sharp edges are defined by this turquoise color, and if you go in here, you select edge, and then clear sharp, it'll go back to being smooth. Alright. Now from here, you can go size it, rotate it, get it the angle you want it to be. And you have now easily completed 2 very simple types of hats. Obviously, make sure not to forget to check your solidify modifier. Make sure to add the modifier and check all your normals, etc, etc. Yeah, these are just the basics. They are the bare minimum when it comes to models. You will be able to make these in 20 minutes of practice, hopefully. Some people will take longer, that's normal. It's not easy to remember all of the keybinds, which is why these tools are on the side to help you. Feel free to rewatch, feel free to replay, slow down, do whatever you need. Just make sure to practice a bunch, because you do not learn UGC by just practicing this once. Alright? Next time I'll go over beveling as well as some other details, and hopefully UV unwrapping, because that is a pain, at least for me. But yes, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you